Hello and welcome to a Pioneer video. Look, I know that people who come to my channel don't really come here for Pioneer content, but I think that this deck is sweet, and what I like to do in my channel is play decks that I like, right? So I want to be doing the things that I like because I think that obviously comes across a lot better. So if you have watched my previous video where I streamed a combo deck including a bunch of elementals, after the video, we went deep in the tank and tried to figure out how to fix the problem. So the original list had access to Omnath, Locus of Creation. That's the 4-color Omnath. And it was really hard to get the mana to work. And not only that, it did feel like Omnath, while obviously it's a very good card, it just didn't quite work out as I wanted it to, right? Like it acted as a win condition, but it wasn't really a payoff, right? So what we are going to do today is we're trying out a 3-color version of this deck. Straight up 3 colors, no extra nonsense. And what this is going to be doing is we're going to be adding Cavalier of Flame, which is an actual payoff and win condition for when we create infinite mana. So this deck has a couple of combos that happen here. So the big one is Grinning Ignus, which is an elemental, 3 mana for a 2/2. You pay red and you return it to your owner's hand and you add 3 mana. So what you do is you combine Grinning Ignus with Birgi, God of Storytelling, which we probably can't see that over there too well because it's a split card. So not a split card, it's a double face card. But on the front side, it's a 3 mana 3/3 that whenever you cast a spell, you add a red to your mana pool. So the way that this works out is you play your Ignis, which adds red mana, then you use the floating red mana to bounce the Ignis, and then you get to cast the Ignis once again once you can excuse me, once you get the mana floating. So because of that, and the Ignis being an elemental, if you have a Recent Reef in play, this means that you are going to be drawing your entire deck. So you can draw your entire deck and put all the lands that you find from your deck onto play. If you have a Prosperous Innkeeper in play, you're going to gain infinite life because you're going to be triggering the life gain every single time that the Ignus comes into play. And if you have a Runaway Stimkin, you're actually going to net infinite red mana. So because of all of these combos, we can once we go off, we're going to be able to put together a way to win the game past anything that our opponent can do, which is pretty nice. So the way that it's going to work, and this is a little bit annoying to do in MTGO, but hopefully people will concede once they see the combo. But yeah, so if we make infinite red mana and then we cast Cavalier Flames, we can activate the Cavalier Flames in as many times as we want. And then that should allow us to attack for lethal, because by that time we're going to be able to play all of the Grinning Ignuses from our deck and all of the Runaway Stimkins and all of the Cavaliers, because all of these cards cost just red mana. So it obviously if our opponent has like 12 blockers or 13 blockers or something like that, maybe they're going to be able to chump everything, but then we attack them again on the following turn. So it's not super likely for them to be able to get away with it. So once we have that going, it's the rest of the cards are just a little bit of a ramp in Lich-King Druid. And I could try something like Sealed Inherited, but this being an elemental means that if you have a Reef in play, it's just too much value to pass up, in my opinion. Like the fact that it doesn't fix your mana, which is a little bit of a drawback, obviously. But this drawing a card when you have a Recent Reef means that it's not a dead draw in the mid to late game, which is it's just like what goes over the top and allows me to, it just makes me want to play the Druid over Caryatid. And then we have a card that I wanted to try out in Escape to the Wilds. So you, for 5 mana, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play 1 extra land this turn, and you may play the cards exiled. So this is a way for us to get like a little bit of card advantage. In my original list, I had some Cavalier of Thorns, which I wanted as standalone cards that would be powerful enough. And the Cavalier just didn't quite do it. So because of that, we're going to be changing things around a little bit, and we're going to go the Escape to the Wilds route instead. We also have a couple of copies of Omnath, since Stimkin, this thing, all of these are elementals, so we actually have a pretty reasonable amount of elementals in play, and it starts to get really nice whenever you have 8 lands into play and you start growing your dudes, and you can just have like a solid fair game. Also, in a way, Omnath is removal, which you know, if we have to kill a Greasefang, we gotta do what we gotta do. In the sideboard, we have disputes. It's just like what's the word I'm looking for here? Like agglamation of just reasonably okay sideboard cards. Dispute against the blue decks, obviously. Stroke and Gust against the mono green decks more than anything else. Fry against Greasefangs, against Narsets, and like stuff like that. Flameless Bolt is against Mana Dorks more than anything else, and Phoenixes. Alpine Moon, obviously against the Lotus Field combo deck, which I'm assuming that it's going to be a terrible matchup. And finally, Whisper Bull Elemental, because it's a sweet card that I really like, and I want to see if it's good enough to play against the sweeper decks. It's probably just better off being another Dispute or something else, but I just want to try. You know, okay, sue me, all right? Like I have Whisper Bull Elemental in my deck. But yeah, so one thing that I wanted to mention is BTL we're going to be able to only BTL for 3. Unless we have, you know, like Innkeeper treasure tokens, which is not super likely. So a BTL is basically as a way to get, you know, tutor for the missing piece of the combo. Another thing that I was considering would be Collected Company. So it's possible that we should just be playing 4 Collected Company here. So I just wanted to make like a little bit of a shout out here to the card, which I also want to be trying out. But yeah, the idea is, you know, we are 3-card combo deck basically, so we want to have access to BTL, which actually is going to be able to fulfill our whatever we need at any given time. Also, it's really interesting, and we actually found out this in the stream that I did with the deck, is if you have a Birgi in play and you BTL, it actually nets you 2 red mana in the process. So because you cast the BTL and then you also cast the card from it, which did come up, and it was the reason why I won a game by gaining infinite life. So that's very, very nice. Without further ado, we're going to be trying things out in a league. Let's see how things work out. I swear that if they don't work out, I'm probably going to try like maybe 1 or 2 more iterations on this deck and I'll drop it. But for now, I'm like low-key excited about trying to figure this out. Hopefully you are as excited as I am, and if you do, please hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you for round number 1. Alright, here we go, round number 1. So this hand has perfect mana, but has nothing to do with it, so I'm going to ship it. This hand has no mana at all, so we're also going to have to, unfortunately. This hand looked good, so keep this, bottom BTL, and I think I'm going to bottom the Virgi. So I'm going to go turn 2 Innkeeper. The reason for that is so I can go Recent Reef on turn 3, and then I can potentially draw a card from the Leaf King Druid. Lunarch Veteran. Okay, so here's my Innkeeper. The Keeper of the Inn. Am I blocking this Lunarch Veteran? Probably I am. So this is the Angels deck, I assume. Maybe it is. I think I am blocking this. Nah, actually no. Because we can just... yeah, we can just... you know, offset the life loss here by just playing our cards. Okay, so next turn we're going to be able to play Runaway Steam King, play Leaf King Druid, draw a couple of cards, set things up. It's not bad. So we're missing Birgi and we're missing the other thing. And once we do, we should be able to establish infinite mana. Unclear how many... Okay, so my opponent is splashing something. The Book of Exalted Deeds. Beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white angel. You exile, you put an enlightened counter on target angel. I guess you can win the game and your opponents can. So that would be a problem if we get to that point. So let's start by playing Steam King here. Oh, whoops. We're gonna play Steam King first. That's gonna trigger the Reef. Another Recent Reef. And here I guess we're just gonna play the other Druid. I just need more mana, so I'm gonna put that into play, and we're gonna pass the turn. Next turn we're gonna have some options. This stops for double green now, so I can go 1, 2, 3 and play Recent Reef. Collected Company, okay. Play Recent Reef, that's gonna give me 2 triggers, and then I can Cavalier off of that. Okay, so here my opponent is gonna gain a bunch of life. Again, I'm not interested, I don't really care about the amount of life they gain, because I'm gonna be able to go infinite. I guess they're gaining it. Jesus, those are some big boys. I guess I should have traded with that thing, huh? Am I just dead here? I may just be dead. So if I play Birgi, I don't trigger. But we can go float 3, Birgi. Then play Recent Reef. I'm gonna get to draw 2 cards and add a red mana. So 1, 2, 3, 1. And if I find what's his name of the Recent Reef, we're gonna win. That looks good to me, I guess. So we have to find of these. Oh no, I tapped wrong. I guess it doesn't matter. Blue, green. So if I find the guy, which I can't remember the name of, right here, we're gonna win. That's not the one. Grinning Ignus, one time. That's not a Grinning Ignus. Definitely not a Grinning Ignus. Ugh, that sucks. Playing second Birgi doesn't do anything. And play. Am I dead in the air? 12. I guess I'm not dead just now. Technically, I have one more turn. So I think we just pass the turn and chill. And next turn, we're gonna play the Cavalier. That's gonna give us 3 more looks. Or we can play the Birgi and we can the other side of the Birgi, the God of Bounty, the Horn of Bounty. It's probably better to play the Cavalier. Is it better to play Cavalier? This is red, so this is gonna trigger the Runaway Steamkin regardless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that kills me. All right, so now I am dead in the air. Now I am actually dead in the air. Man, one turn too late. It's actually kind of cool, the fact that we would have won if we had found the Grinning Ignus. I guess we're not gonna get there anyways. Okay, so opponent has a bunch of things that I want to kill, so I think the Fries are gonna be good. And probably Flame Blessed Bolts as well. Yeah. These are the cards that I want. Let's cut one of those. Could cut an Omnath. Let's cut a Cavalier. One of each. Yeah, where were you last game? So if I go turn 3 Reef, I mean, I guess I kind of have to hope that's good enough. We do have Reef and we also have Ignis on the following turn, so that's kind of nice. So if we find any land, then we're going to be able to... Ooh, that's a pretty great draw. So this means I can kill a 1-drop. A 2-drop, sorry. That's the 2-drop I was talking about. Dead. Dead. Green, 1, blue, Recent Reef. Put that into play, baby. Let's go. Alright, so now Omnath actually shocks something, which is pretty sweet. Or I can go... Yeah, it's not enough for that one. So I guess I'm gonna play second Recent Reef here. And I want to leave the Stomping Ground up. That's a land. So I guess I'm gonna put that one in hand. Fry, yeah, that's great. And do I want to fry this? I guess I don't want to... I don't want to fry just yet, and the 1 point of damage is not going to matter, so we're chilling here. Collected Company. Let's see what they find. So, I guess I want to kill this thing. They're still going to gain the life. Gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. So, the question is it worse for me that they get free angels, or is it worse for me that they have +2/+2 to all their creatures? I think more angels is worse for me. So we're gonna kill that. Okay, so if we Grinning Ignus, if we Ignus right here, we draw 2, and then we can potentially make more mana if we bounce it. So 1, 2, 3, play Ignus, red bounce it. We have red colorless, and access to blue, green, and a land drop after drawing 2 cards. Alternatively, we can escape to the wilds, exile top 5. See what we find, kind of take it from there. So this doesn't further my board state though, which leaves me further away from actually triggering this to kill something. Man, if this killed, if we had 4 elementals in play, I would slam the Omnath, but since we don't... So I guess, let's go for Ignis, let's draw to... This is so close. This is really, really close. I guess Ignis draws me potentially 4 cards. But it doesn't allow me to play extra lands. So I think this is going to be a setup turn. So because of it, I'm going to escape. We found the Stimkin. So let's go red source, I think. And this. Now we're going to play Stimkin. And if we find Birgi, Innkeeper. So now if we find Birgi, we're gonna be able to do a lot of things next turn. Mono collected companies is not bad. It's not half bad, opponent. So now we can go Ignus. This adds some mana. Bounce it. Replay Ignus. Make another mana. And then I think that we don't have infinite mana, but we can draw an entire deck because we have double Recent Reef. So hopefully my opponent kills a Recent Reef here instead of the Steamkin. Sweet. So they did kill the Recent Reef. This is also better for me because it means that I don't get decked. But I think that I'm going to be able to replay the Grinning Ignus indefinitely. BTL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find Birgi. But then we're 1 mana short. Ugh, that sucks. So I think we're gonna go Ignus in. And we're gonna have to naturally draw the Birgi. So we don't want to put this into play. Bounce this. Cast this. Trigger. Put that in play. Bounce this. Cast this. Trigger. Another Steamkin. Make mana. This is close. So this is -1 mana. I think I just have to continue doing this until I find Birgi, and once I find Birgi, that's when we start actually netting mana. That into play. Yeah, so we're just gonna loop this here. That into play. We kind of want to find Birgi quickly though. There we go. So bounce this, cast Birgi, make mana, Ignus. Now we start to net mana with every single iteration. I mean, we're gonna net mana every 3 times we do this. That's how this works. So I think we actually have the win here. Trigger that, put that into play. So Ignus. If my opponent if they had killed the Steamkin instead, we wouldn't have been able to do all of this. So definitely got a little bit of an advantage there by being the one playing the brew. Still no, what's his name, huh? Float that, play a Steamkin. Now we're gonna net a lot of mana. Float mana, another Steamkin, Innkeeper. This is cool. This is pretty. So I'm probably, I mean, this is just the win, right? Like we're gonna have infinite attackers. So, not infinite attacker, but like infinite things, right? We're gonna have infinite activations of the Cavalier. So this is actually just lethal. This is actually just lethal, which is good. Like this is exactly what I was expecting the Cavalier to do. So it's nice to see that we thought about the situation, and the situation actually came up. So it feels good. It feels very, very good. So, but yeah. So basically, this is just like an infinite loop here. We're gonna draw an entire deck. We're gonna make infinite mana. And then we're just gonna kill my opponent with some Cavaliers. So I'm just going to speed the process here by just stopping the recording, and then we'll resume with a lethal attack. My opponent didn't even let me finish comboing off, but yeah, we did get there. Opponent finally understood what's going on. We're activating Cavalier maybe like 15 times, nice and easy. And then we're gonna kill them with all of these attackers. So everything worked out beautifully. That was a fantastic display of what the deck is capable of doing. Great to see. So my opponent only has Apparition, so they don't really have that much access to removal, I don't think. I still think that the fries are great, obviously. I still think Flameless Bolt is worth it. It's just a matter of whether do I want the Omnaths, or whether these Omnaths would be better off as runaway Steamkins. Probably that's the case. Maybe over Escape, because we're not going to have that much time. Escape seems a little bit of a clunker. Yeah, let's do this. Alright, so this hand looks pretty good. Let's keep it. We have the Boseiju for the book, even. It's just pretty neat. So, how are we going to sequence our spells? Steamkin or Leafkin? I think we're going to go Leafkin here. So what does this guy do? Whenever you do control dice, you create 1/1 spirit, and when angel enters the battlefield, you gain 4. Okay. Apparition kills my dude. Let's actually go Birgi this turn, so that we can put a lot more pressure, because next turn I'm going to be able to go Recent Reef into Runaway Steamkin. Also, the random 3/3 lines up better against Skyclave Apparition. Just don't have a bunch of collected companies, opponent, please. Okay, with that we can Bossage you for only a single green mana. What a deal. And I put that into play. And now, opponent doesn't have an angel here, but if they have a Mutavault, but then I can just kill the Mutavault, right? So I guess I can just jam this Runaway Stimkin here and not worry about it. So there you go. So now if they don't have an answer, we can next turn BTL and then we just combo off. Okay, so play this out. 1 green, blue. There we go. We BTL for Grinning Ignus. Cast it. Trigger Birgi and Runaway Stimkin. And this is the combo. We actually put it together fairly easily. Sure, my opponent didn't have any removal, right? That certainly helped. My opponent not having removal definitely helped out. But we're gonna have blue and green mana here. Already played a land. So I think my opponent is just trying to time me out here. If they haven't had the answer yet, I don't think they're gonna have, so they're just hoping that I misclick or something. So anyway, we're just gonna do the same thing, but I think this is the win. All right, finally got tired, but I suspect my opponent has settled the wreckage. Yes, so my opponent did have the wreckage. This is perfectly fine. So now we're just gonna second main. We're gonna play Birgi again. And then I guess we get to cast the Hono Bounty and then just pass the turn back. We still have more than enough to lethal them next turn. And I on purpose left the Cavalier there. So this card, this card, this card, this card. And now, unless they have a way to... Okay, so I just draw my Fry and they die. So I have another Fry in the deck, so I just draw that and then they lose. Blue, green, red. Recent Reef. Oh, that's faster. Actually much faster. Kill that shit. Can I please win now? There we go, sweet. Alright, that was a pretty fantastic showcase of what the deck can do actually. Obviously it's not like amazing when your opponent has actual outs. Like it makes sense my opponent didn't concede obviously, but like if I had been reckless, I could have just attacked everything into the wreckage and we would have lost, but fortunately I played around it. But that was a really good showcase of what the deck can do. That looked very fun. Alright, second match. This hand doesn't do anything, right? It's not super far away. Like if we draw run a land, this hand is actually fantastic. But we only have one look. 25 lands is almost 50%. I mean, this hand's worse but better at the same time, I guess. And let's bot it basic. We get to go turn 1 Triumph, turn 2 Innkeeper, turn 3 Birgi, I guess. It's a terrible draw. Absolutely terrible. Playing against some blue-red deck. Alright. That one plays. That one actually does play. So next turn we can escape to the wilds. Float a red mana. Draw 5 and set up the next turn. I mean, we can even play some stuff because we're going to net a mana off the Birgi whenever we escape to the wilds. So could be even better than that. Strangle would suck for us here. Lightning Axe. Guess that also sucks for us. Damn. Okay. So we take 3 down to 16. I mean, I have to escape to the wild this turn, right? Brutal. Alright, so next turn... I mean, I guess next turn we have infinite mana, right? So we go Birgi, Stimkin... Oh, we don't have... Actually, never mind. They bounce their own Phoenix. I'm gonna take 7. BTL. Well, I mean... I guess we have to do this, right? And then Ignus. This gets a counter. Play the stab. They go. And I guess if we chump with the Ignus... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Never mind, we're dead. Okay. I have seen enough. I have seen enough. Alright, let's take a look at sideboarding. Fry kills Thing in the Ice, which is nice. This kills Phoenix. So we definitely want Flameless Bolt. Probably don't want all the Omnaths. So this is more of a choice kind of thing, huh? Because Dispute answers Thing while Gust answers Phoenix and whatnot. So I think I want to cut the druids. I think the combo is actually legit, so I'm gonna leave the innkeeper so I can potentially gain infinite life. And I guess I'm gonna cut the ring to lights. Cut one of them. Dispute is interesting. I kind of want disputes for Narset and stuff. Although I guess Narset doesn't stop recent reef. So let's cut one Stemkin, one Cavalier on the BTLs. I'm honestly sideboarding quite randomly, but we'll see. Let's see if this works. Okay, this hand looks pretty good. Let's keep it. So let's go turn 1, Stomping Ground. And what do we do on turn 2? Does that change anything? Not really. Let's play this. Innkeeper or Steamkin? I think I'm gonna go in. Because I'm gonna save the Steamkin to trigger Recent Reef a couple of times. Fry? No Fry. I guess we're gonna go Birgi here. If I go Birgi, I gain in life. Opponent kills the Birgi next turn. I'm gonna go Recent Reef actually, so I can start potentially getting ahead on cards. That's also a lane, which is nice. Now I really wish I had played the other one of these on the red side. Maybe I should have done that anyways. Since like the blue is like it's barely a splash for us. We're mostly a red-green deck. Chart a course. I mean, if they don't have removal for Recent Reef, we're gonna get to do some silly things here. They don't have removal. Okay, so what if we go Stimkin? That guarantees a draw, which is nice. So put that into play tapped. Red and 1, another Stimkin. It's another draw. Play this out. Same for 2, baby. I guess 1. Sadness. Alright, so this dispute hopefully does some work for us. My opponent's missing land drops, so I'm gonna dispute this opt. If my opponent weren't missing land drops, I would not even bother. But my opponent already showed me that they're missing land drops. They're a little bit lacking on action. Here they're gonna be able to bounce. So now they resolve. They get back Phoenix. It's not bad. So let's go. I can go Birgi. 2 mana, play Innkeeper. So the Innkeepers are basically free to play if I cast the Birgi first. So let's lead on Birgi, even though it draws me less cards. But I can float some red mana here. Second the Innkeeper. Now green and blue. Play Recent Reef. I guess I will hold on to one of the treasure tokens, and I'm just gonna shock here. This nets me 1 mana. I already played my land. Gain 2 life. Draw Dispute. Stimkin. Escape to the Wilds. It's almost like my opponent didn't bounce my board at all. They definitely did though, but at least we're not dead. We gained a bunch of life. And my opponent's gonna need to clear my board. Like if they just spend their turn like playing a cantrip or whatever, like they need to remove everything. That doesn't remove anything. So now I just gotta find what's his name now, because this is also not lethal. So I can just take this, and if I find Grinning Ignus, we just win straight up, and we have 7 looks at a Grinning Ignus, which is pretty good. Yeah, we're definitely taking 10 here. No big deal. Hey, that's the card that wins. That is the card that wins the game. Sweet. Let's play this one. We're gonna show our opponent what our deck is about over here. So this is infinite life, infinite cards, and infinite red mana. No big deal. No big deal. Dude, I kind of love this deck. Kind of love what's going on here. And we were doing this with Dispute backup. Let's see if my opponent figures out what's going on here. I assume that they're just gonna wait until they see a win condition. So as soon as I have the mana, I'm gonna go ahead and cast this Cavalier to kindly suggest to my opponent that they're buried. But we don't have to cast this Escape to the Wilds or anything, so we don't really show my opponent any more cards. It's another Ignus, which is nice. It's a lot of clicks though. Certainly a lot of clicks. Alright, opponent has finally understood what's going on, and they pack it in. That was cool. That was very cool. I love this deck. I kind of love this deck. Game 3. Okay. I think we keep this the same. Maybe another Stimkin instead of the Druid. Druid is like a pretty solid game turn 2 play though. Yeah, I think we're gonna go like this. Whisperwood is kind of interesting, but I don't think that's where I want to go. Yeah, let's go with this. Alright. Yeah, this hand's perfect. Keep it. how do we want to answer a thing in the ice? Do we want to dispute it, or do we want to fry it? Let's just dispute this. Uses our mana effectively, gets rid of their enabler. Not a bad draw. We can still fry a thing in the ice if my opponent plays it. We can Flame Blast Bolt something if we want to. Let's go Recent Reef. Opponent could have dispute there of their own here. Hey, speak of this. Zwing. Maybe I should have some Graveyard Hate in the sideboard. Obviously, I'm still trying to figure out what this deck's holes are, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out what is this deck good against, what is this deck bad against, and how to make it so. Reef down. Interesting that they would do that on my end step, right? Like, this counts as a spell towards getting back a Phoenix. Treasure Cruise. I'd rather not. But that explains the end of turn upgrade, right? They were just hoping to refill with a cruise. Let's play this. Kind of funny how we're just gonna fill this thinking up the fairway. If my opponent doesn't remove it, which is kind of hilarious. But like, best case scenario is my opponent like plays a thing in the ice, and then we get to fry it. That's pretty funny actually. Fiery Impulse? No. I mean, I could double Flame Blast Bolt my Innkeeper to save it, but probably no. So Escape to the Wells is my best draw here. And the good thing is, like, unless my opponent has something that I'm not thinking of, I don't think we can lose. I guess double thing in the ice. We'd lose to double thing. Not even, actually, because I could just double Flame Blast Bolt one of them. Womp womp. Womp womp. Opponent, can you please play something that I can kill? Please and thank you. Do it. Do it. Hardcast Archetype. Gotta do what you gotta do. Pew! Can the Innkeeper go the distance? That's the question now. Can the Innkeeper boy go the distance? Well, we can't activate this. I'm just gonna jam, I think. And then I'm gonna just cast this Cavalier the fairway. And I think I'm gonna discard nothing? This really speeds up the clock though, which is nice. And I'm just gonna do nothing. Let's actually... Yeah, let's just do nothing. I feel like as long as we don't die, we probably win. And this makes sure that I don't die. Lightning Axe would suck for us though. It's a good start for OP. We definitely don't want to see Treasure Cruise. That would be the scariest card. Discard Thing in the Ice. Interesting. And they do have a cruise? Huh. Well, that's super weird to me. So they just assume that I'm going to have an answer to the Thing in the Ice? That's kind of a next level read right there. Because Thing in the Ice doesn't look half bad in this board state. So next turn, how much can we swing for? This is 7, 9, 11, 13. Put my opponent down to 2. Probably not going to be doing that. I think I'd rather just leave interaction. I guess I can also draw like a Steam King or something. Opponent has 4 cards in hand though. It's very scary. Yeah, I don't think cashing in like 1 mana to... it does shorten the clock. I think I'd rather cycle the Triumph. I think we're going to cycle the Triumph. So we're representing lethal for next turn. And my opponent could go a Thing in the Ice and attempt to flip it on the same turn. And I F6 like an idiot. Well, they don't mean to do that. Definitely I meant to cycle this. Hard cast. 1, 2, deals X damage to the opponent or the number of land cards in your graveyard. Ooh, he has some more text. That's nice. I didn't even know that. Sweet. Got a little bit of extra value on the way out. Pinging my opponent for 1. Got him. Poor old Innkeeper. Getting strangled. I'm gonna save this guy for when I find the Recent Reef. I can go Recent Reef into these two. I really need to dodge. Like another Treasure Cruise or something. So I think my opponent's probably ahead here. And I think I'm gonna fry right now. The reason for frying right now is it's not super likely that my opponent's gonna be able to flip the thing. And that is a really good draw. It's time to escape. Whoa, baby. Never mind. Play land. This. For red, I think. Actually, what if we play the other side of Birgi? Let's lead on Innkeeper and say go. And then we can think about it. But we can play the other side of Birgi. Like, it's kind of random how, like, all of a sudden, we can grind fairly well. Yeah, this is fine. Even if they discard Phoenix, I don't think. But maybe I should have cashed in the Dispute, because otherwise my opponent just doesn't cast anything. Discard Hall of Storm Giants. Kind of surprised by that. Innkeeper down. Yeah, so let's cast the Horn. My opponent showed me a Braid, which sucks a little bit, but at least we can dispute the Braid if my opponent plays it. Let's activate here. Exile 2 cards. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Green. Escape to the Wilds. That's a lot of lands. Big yikes. We can play this. I guess I want to play 2 untapped lands so I can potentially. I guess this dispute is going away this coming turn. So yeah, maybe I should have played the Triumph because it's a better land to have in play. It probably doesn't matter. Pieces of the Puzzle. It's probably their best card, I think. They found Trespass. Yikes. I imagine they're gonna keep Trespass and Chart a Course and send Impulse to the graveyard. Course is being charted. Even if they discard Phoenix here, with Bless Bolted, so it's not. So in Land we draw, we can discard to the Horn, which is kind of interesting because then if they we can turn this Cavalier into just my opponent dying unavoidably, which is pretty neat. So we have currently 2 lands in the graveyard. If we can bring the number up to 7, then so let's draw. Land is not bad actually, so discard this, turn this land into 2 cards. Grinning Ignus. So this is technically lethal. 1, 2, 3, 5. We're gonna say no here. I guess we could discard both of these cards. Yeah, let's just discard both of this so I could potentially find lands, and lands to draw me 2 cards and put stuff in the graveyard for me. I guess it's something that could have happened. So my opponent's gonna take a Bolt to the face here. Okay. So I'm only gonna discard the Leaf King. Runaway Steam King. So play out Boseiju because it doesn't matter. Then I think I have to high roll here. We gotta find either Omnath or that doesn't do it. 1, 2, 3, and another Grinning Ignus. Maybe I should have just done nothing there. Just pass the turn. I should have just discarded the Flameless Bolt there, maybe. I'm not sure. We have seen 1 Recent Reef in the top 40 cards of our deck. We have not seen Omnath. We did see both Escape to the Wilds. We're out of Cavaliers now. So Omnath is our best win condition at this point. That's a Phoenix. They did an iteration. So so they're just gonna take 2 turns, I think. But then we Flameless Bolt the Phoenix. And I think we're ahead. So Phoenix comes back. Exile it. F6. Extra turn number 1. Only 2 cards in hand. That's a good card to have in hand. That's a really good one to have in hand. Oh my god. Yep. That's really, really good. The good thing is that they can't iteration the pieces because they would just deck themselves, which is funny. Oh, they can't do it now. So their hand is pieces, iteration, a Braid. They should have Braid the Horn, obviously. Oh, they drew the other Trespass. Alright, so I think that's enough. I think that's lethal because they drew the Phoenix. They found both Phoenix in those pieces of the puzzle. I guess we go to 3. Yeah, because it can't go face, right? So they can't cast pieces. They're not casting a Braid, which I guess makes sense. Not casting yet, at least. So we take 6. No, that's actually enough. Yeah, that's actually enough. This is extra turn number 1, then extra turn number 2 kill. And they have 3 cards, so they're not gonna deck themselves. Funny that if we had 1 more Flameless Bolt, we would have. Oh, they don't have pieces in hand. They just have a Braid. All right, got Phoenix. We got. I'm surprised at how close that game ended up being. That game was super close. We just didn't found a Recent Reef in 40 cards, and it's definitely possible that we may have misboarded as well. So those are definitely possibilities. Maybe I'm not supposed to cut the Cavalier or the extra Omnath. I think the BTLs are a little bit I don't know, maybe I should be cutting some Grinning Ignus and just not try to combo at all. But yeah, that looked pretty good, honestly. Like, we flooded pretty badly. I mean, look at the amount of lands that we have in play. And like, we cast 2 Escape to the Wilds and they flipped like a bunch of lands, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that was close. That was a fun match. All right, let's see what we got here. This hand looks pretty good to me. Let's keep it. Do we want Leafkin on True or Innkeeper? I think I'd rather Innkeeper once again, because Leafkin triggers Recent Reef, maybe? Swift Spear. Well, now we can play Leafkin. We're gonna have to shock here, which is not great. Maybe I should have some form of early removal, like maybe I should have my own Strangles, second land. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna have to shock here. So I think we actually Innkeeper. You can potentially gain us life next turn. Steamkin would have also been interesting, but if I Steamkin and I don't find land, then I can't Birgi, and then things get awkward there. Let's see if my opponent has a removal spell for the Innkeeper. It's kind of neat. Reckless Rage for damage to a creature. That's nice. Okay, so we're gonna go Recent Reef here, right? Actually, if we go Birgi... No, let's go Recent Reef. It's the highest upside. And I was thinking that if we go Birgi, then next turn we're going to be able to play double Stinkins. But if they have Reckless Rage, I'd much rather have drawn a card and potentially hit a land drop here than... So now we're going to draw a couple of cards. Opponent does not have the removal spell, which is good for me. Take 3. So let's lead on... actually... Yeah, let's lead on Druid. We're going to play Steamkin. So we're going to say no to this. Play this as our land for turn. And Birgi? If we Birgi, next turn we win. But also if we Steamkin, if we Steamkin here is the same thing, right? No, actually no. Because we can BTL for the guy, right? And that nets us mana, allows me to cast the Steamkin. So I think we have to play the Birgi here. I guess we can just chump with Recent Rift because we have lethal in hand already. We can just make infinite mana. So the point of damage doesn't really do anything. And if we need to chump, then I'd rather do it with Recent Reef than with Leafkin Druid. Ancestral Lane. If they don't present lethal, I'm just gonna chill here. And now we basically have guaranteed lethal. I think so, right? So we play Steamkin, float red, Leafkin Druid, taps for 2, 1, 2, plus the floating red. I think so, right? So 1, 2, floating red for 5. Yeah, I think this works. So I think this is lethal. Say no to that one. 1, 2, blue, bring to light. This gives me red mana. Grinning Ignus, cast Ignus, nets me 1 more red mana. Trigger, recast, and this is infinite mana, infinite cards. And even if I want it, this is gonna be infinite life, but I don't see a reason to show my opponent that I have an infinite life combo. Although I guess that they know. They don't have to know what you mean, you know? Down. Replay this thing. Bounce this thing. Float mana. Steamkin. Play that. Float even more mana. This is fun. And the nice thing here is that because we have so many Steamkins, like we're going to get this loop fairly quickly. I can just show my opponent the win condition at this point. So let's just cast this Cavalier, see if this makes my opponent concede. Looks like my opponent was in conceding. Hey, more Cavaliers, you say? Don't mind if I do, I'm having fun over here. Could even escape to the wilds. It's kind of hot. Alright, let's just win this game. Let's just win this. We're just gonna get a couple of sexy activations going here. Seems reasonable. Pretty good turn 5. I've seen better turn 5s. But this one will do. 10-1 Recent Reef. Just the good old 10-1 Recent Reef. Opponent carefully declaring blockers. You don't want to mess up this turn of the game, you know? You don't want to mess it up. Opponent finds some pretty good blocks, and then we move on to game number 2. -92 is a good number. So Flameless Bolt looks good. I imagine Gust is also reasonable. Do we care for Fry? Is the question. Don't think we're gonna have time to escape. Maybe Flameless Bolt is just a little bit too slow. And I just want, like, these are answers to Swift Spears, and these are answers to the other guy, the Hoplite. We're always trading down, though. But we're technically sort of trading up on cards, because my opponent will very often have sunk a couple of cards in there. Let's actually keep the Leaf Keen, maybe shave a Recent Reef. I'll probably shave the Omnath. I'm still kind of on the fence about whether or not Omnath is worth it. Like, it's a fine card on its own, I guess. It's like, I guess fine is a very generous word. It's an okay card on its own. But it feels like the Cavaliers sort of make the Omnath a little bit obsolete. And having to have blue and green floating whenever you're going off in order to cast the Omnath seems like a little bit of a struggle. So maybe I should just be playing 4 Cavaliers Omnaths. I could definitely see that being the case. Or maybe just 3 Cavaliers, and I could just play a couple extra Escape to the Wilds in the Omnath slot. Or play... What else could it be? Maybe some form of main deck with removal? Feels like there's so many ways where we can take this deck list. Well, punished for my check lands, but I'm still gonna keep this hand. This is like a hard punish right here. This is a real hard punish for the... I think I have like 4 check lands or maybe less. That's pretty funny. So I guess I'm gonna be able to play this on turn 2 on the red side and play the Innkeeper. Potentially that forces a removal spell from my opponent. Yeah, this match is looking a lot worse for us, this game. Okay, so I think I have to... I probably just have to be active here. This only triggers... Yeah, it only triggers when it casts a spell that targets this. This threatens a lot of damage. On the play, Flameless Bolt looks a lot better. Like, obviously Flameless Bolt would have been fantastic there, but like, we just didn't know how our hand was going to line up. I think if my opponent lets me, I may just chump block. Would love to find an untapped lane. Opponent smartly splitting the difference here. I'm going to take it. Yeah. So they have to have God's Willing or something, right? They have to have God's Willing. So if they have God's Willing, I guess I want to Gust here so I can Fry on my turn. 500% they have God's Willing here. Yeah, I really wish I had found an untapped land there. We're a little bit too on the back foot here. Fry? I mean, I can't really play around much here. I could play Recent Reef, but then I lose to anything. So I have to assume my opponent has no cards left in their deck, and I have to flip a land off this Recent Reef so I can do stuff next turn. It's a land. Alright, step number 1. Now we need my opponent to have absolutely nothing so that I can chump block the Swift Spear. Then next turn I can go Reef into game 3. So yeah, I'm a lot more excited about Flameless Bolt on the play, I think. 1-1 interaction seems pretty solid. Let's cut the Omnath altogether. I think I want the BTLs, because comboing seems important. Feels like I want to sort of maximize my chances of comboing BTL. Maybe I can cut 1. I guess I could technically nickel and dime. That is assuming that we find removal at the key turns. We could also play Whisperwood. Spade out infinite blockers that my opponent can't crash through. Ugh, this hand is so good. If I find any land off the top, it's too risky. Okay, this is bad. So keep this, bottom the Cavalier. Turn 1 Triumph. Well, we can't touch that one with Gust, which is unfortunate. Let's go with this and say go. Like, I still think I want to hold up Gust. If my opponent plays a 2-drop, make a nice little tempo play here. Next turn we're gonna Reef. Hoplite is brutal. Another Hoplite is devastating. Alright, flip a land here. Land? Gross. Absolutely gross. We did flip the land though. So next turn we can go Birgi to hold up Gust at least. Oh, this prevents damage. It doesn't... It doesn't actually give protection. Interesting. So we're taking at least 6 here. We could BTL for a way to kill this. Probably not winning that game. Cast Birgi, opponent cast this thing over here. I'm trying to think if I should shock or not. I'm not gonna. So cast Birgi, say go. So if I find Innkeeper off the top. I guess I win, because I just gain infinite life. So we got a top deck Innkeeper here. Maybe that's a reason to shock, actually. And I don't think I'm blocking. Red probably kills my Birgi, which is bad. Damn it. So that's 8 damage. We're in a lot of trouble here. Alright, so I guess if they didn't have the removal spell here, I could have gone Ignus into make a mana. Then I float mana of Ignus. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. 1, 4, 5, 6. I have 2 mana floating. Yeah, I would have won. I would have gained infinite life with the Ignus draw. Because the Bring to Light actually nets me 2 mana with Birgi. As is, I think I'm just dead on board. Because they have the Homestead Courage over here. So as is, I'm just dead on board. Man, that sucks that they had removal spells. Maybe I should have cut some BTLs, but like as you can see, like it would have worked out here. So we just needed my opponent to whiff a little bit or find a removal spell. Like we found the Gust and my opponent had a mono favorite Hoplite draw instead. If we had found the Fry, I think it's very likely we win this game, but unfortunate. Maybe next round will be better. Alright, let's go. Fine hand. Turn 2 Innkeeper. Then we're gonna have turn 3 Recent Reef, gain life. I think we can just Esper. The Esper Triumph. I wonder if this is a control deck. Great draws. Not particularly great draws. Nice that we got to play around Sensor there. Token. Innkeeper. I'm gonna swing here with the Innkeeper. We can maybe bait out the removal spell or something. Maybe they have one of the kill and attacking creatures style cards. Tainted Indulgence. Oh, it's this deck. Are we dead? We're close to dead. If we find Birgi, what happens? We need to find Birgi there, right? I guess we're 1 mana short from comboing Birgi. We can play Innkeeper and this. We're still dead to the Angel tokens. So there's no use in showing my opponent anything. I'm just gonna pass. I'm just gonna concede. I like Fries and Disputes, maybe? Maybe the Disputes are a little bit overdoing it. But it counters the Enablers. Escape seems good. BTL seems a little bit slow. But the Lifkin Druids. It's weird because this seems like a control matchup, but at the same time it's a combo matchup. So like I don't know if I should try to like speed up and try to combo as fast as possible, but my opponent's gonna have a bunch of interactions, so it's kind of weird. Like I don't know if I should sideboard to prevent my opponent from killing me, or if I should sideboard to try to push my combo through, or just sideboard expecting to not combo and just. So I'm gonna keep this. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should not be keeping this. Okay, Nomnath on 3. I mean, if my opponent combos me out again, we're probably dead unless we top like a Fry. Okay, so land, Innkeeper into Lifkin, and next turn. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I guess I can't trigger here. So I should have played Lifkin first. I should have played Lifkin and said go. Because it's probably not particularly easy for my opponent to trigger the Shredder here. And next turn we could have just Omnath and deal 3 damage to this. Yeesh. Yeah, I messed up pretty badly. And we continue drawing blanks. This is brutal. This is brutal. So I think I'm going to attack. I don't think my opponent's going to block, but maybe they will. And if they do, then I can kill one of these Shredders. So I guess we're just going to go face here. At least we have like a solid board state this time around. And this is going to grow... what? The Omnath? Maybe I should be growing the Leaf Kindred. Thoughties. Just Grasp. Brutal. Yep. Ugh. Stupid bird lawyer. So clearly I have no graveyard hate whatsoever. I have to fix that. I thought that just having Fries for Greasefang was going to be enough. But clearly I need to... like, yeah, this is rough. Fry? Escape to the Wilds. Okay. Fry. Where's my Fry, man? I want to eat some fries. I can't even Bossage you here. Oh man, that's brutal. That is so brutal. That is just so brutal. I have the Boseiji to answer the Parnhalion and can't even do that. They discard a Greasefang, so they obviously have another one in hand. So I'm just dead here. I'm gonna be at 15, but my opponent's gonna swing for way more than 15. Yeah, I guess it wasn't really like there was obviously a mistake there. There was very, very much a mistake involved there, but I don't think that the mistake would have changed the outcome of this. It was just I needed to find that fry, and I did not. So, yep. Again, obviously this is part of my lack of familiarity with the format, right? Like I don't know how to attack these decks because I don't have enough experience playing against them. But yeah, it's possible that I should have some form of graveyard hate in my sideboard, and maybe Fry is just not enough to beat this deck, which is pretty popular right now. So yeah, I should definitely respect it. See you next round. Last match, playing against Gigantad. Now with this hand though. This one's a little bit better. Let's keep this one. And I think I want to bottom the Cavalier. Yeah. No idea what Giganta means. I assume it's Niv, but I could be wrong. Spiral of Canal. Is that Phoenix? Could be Phoenix. That's a heinous draw. Pretty bad draw. Alright. I guess it can't be Phoenix because they have the temporal trespass, right? Steamkin is kind of interesting. So let's start there. Play a tap land, say go. What is my opponent up to over there? Reckless Impulse into play with. So that kills the Steamkin. I guess they don't have the red source. So if they want to play the Otawara, they have to tap with Steamkin. And I could technically make the Steamkin into a 3-3 if I wanted to. Opponent's not messing around. They also get a Connive for their troubles. Maybe this is just another version of Phoenix. Could be that. Recent Reef. Okay, play my tap land, play Leafkin Druid, pass the turn. We can blow up the den if we want to with Boseiju. Hoping we don't have to, but we do have the option. Reckless Impulse number 2. Well, this play with fire doesn't kill the Leafkin asses. I would honestly consider just blocking anyway, so my opponent is tempted to play with fire the Leafkin, and that means that they are not gonna remove a spell if I top deck a Recent Reef, which is probably what I'm gonna need if I'm gonna want to win this game. I really want to find Omnath would be a great draw. Jesus. This card is all the rage right now. Pun intended. Alright. Next game. Opponent's on mono removal. So I think I want the Gusts. I'm not sure how I feel like Flameless Bolt, but I do like the Dispute. Let's cut the Bring to Lights, each of these. Could see cutting something for the Fry. With Dispute and Gust, it's probably better. I'm better off just, you know, continue to somewhat enact my plan as well. These hands don't do it, man. These hands don't do it. This one's better. Okay. So let's bottom Druid. Play tap Stomping Ground. Actually, I should have bottom Innkeeper there, because Druid is an elemental, and if my opponent plays an X2 like a Swift Spear, I can potentially Omnath and kill it on turn 3. So probably a mistake on my part. Maybe even sending the Birgi was the best line. Okay. Flameless Bolt. Yeah. I think I'm gonna cast the Birgi. Hold up this pass the turn. And hope that my opponent doesn't have a Reckless Rage, I guess. Consider. I probably have to let this go and save my Dispute for something a little bit more exciting. Go Homebird. I think I'm actually trading here. Yep. We get a nice little 2-for-1 there. We want to play another Birgi. I think I'd rather play Omnath. And the reason to play Omnath is that we can save the Birgi and we can play the it as the other side. Treasure Cruise. It's a pretty strong card. Pretty strong card. But at least my opponent does not have pressure. I'm gonna cast the Horn. Horn it up. I think we're swinging for 4. Point opts on my end step, keeping on. Scary. Very scary. Please don't abrade me, bro. Although abrade answers both sides of Birgi, right? So doesn't matter. Interesting. Yep. Cash that one in. Recent Reef into Druid. Oof. Don't mind if I do. It's very sexy. Oh man. Yeah, I'm probably keeping that on top though. Probably keeping that on top. And next turn we can draw the guy, refeed up. Okay, so my opponent has another treasure. Interesting to me that they gust the reef as opposed to gusting the Omnia. There's another cruise, but they can't cast Reckless Rage. Alright, draw the recent reef, cast the recent reef. What do you got, deck? What do you got for me, deck? Innkeeper. I think this is worth discarding. Let's see what I get. I kind of would like to find a land. Ooh, that's not bad. So I think I want to beef up the Omnath, actually. My opponent does have Aether Gust, though. But this turn, they're basically forced to answer in the Omnath. So maybe I should have pulled the counter on the leaf just to make it a 1/4. The Horn of Bounty is doing what it promised. Is indeed delivering. Reckless Impulse. So I guess now, if they have Reckless Rage, they can kill the no, they can't kill the Omnath, actually. So they're forced into gusting. They found an Aether Gust, so now they have to gust the Omnath. Otherwise, it's lethal. Or they can just chomp with the Shredder, I guess. They go to 2, so they also have a shock for the Steamkin. Oh, they have a chomp. Okay. If you can draw 8 or more lands, so we're 1 land too short. Let's see what's up over here first. Love that. Love that. It's a good draw. It's a very good draw. Aether Gust is nice. Okay. So now this stops for 2. Let's do this thing. Sprite Dragon is interesting. We trigger the recent reef again into Birgi. So Birgi would be infinite, but we don't have enough stuff. So my opponent is going to be forced into... They have to gust the Omnath. I can only recast Grinning Ignus once. Can make 4 mana. Yeah, I guess I have to discard the Birgi. Because I think I'm going to be gusting the Soulscar Mage. Well, there's that. So now discard the Gust in hand. Jesus. Okay. Just never finding lands, huh? Never finding lands is the name of the game. Bounce this. Recast this. That helps Steamkin. Trigger. Find the lands. There we go. I say no to that. We're gonna play this out. This triggers. This gives me 3 mana if I want to. And more mana turns into more untaps of Grinning Ignus. So now they Reckless Rage. We gust the Rage. Then opponent needs to chomp and just go off here. That was cool. That was cool. And the key there was to obviously answer my opponent's threats, right? That's really what it came to. The fact that my opponent didn't have any pressure made things so much better for me. Now that I'm going to be on the draw, I think I'd rather have Fries to answer my opponent's threats as opposed to Dispute. Because if my opponent plays if they play a Bird Lawyer on 2, then, like, if I don't have untapped blue source on turn 1, then I'm gonna kind of die to it, right? So I'd rather just have Fry be able to kill it. His hand's not good enough, probably. His hand is sketch. Let's bottom the Triumph, because I don't think I can afford to have 2 ETB tap lands. Turn 1, no creature is great for me. Would love to see a Fry. Love to see a Fry. Or Gust. Probably Fry, because I'm the most scared of the Bird Lawyer. There it goes. Fry off the top. Nope. I think I want to play this on the red side. Should we play in Ledger Shredder ourselves? There's no way, right? I feel like we want to double spell a bunch, but it's also not super easy for us to double spell either. So it's a weird spot that we find ourselves in. Also, we only play multiple cards when we are ready. Let's play Birgi. So now if we find Innkeeper off the top, we'll gain infinite life. Because I think my opponents kind of, they kind of have to do this, otherwise they fall too short on spells. Oh, well, that's gross. At least they didn't draw 2 of the Reckless Impulse, but they're probably going to find a Cruise or something. We're pretty behind here. Pretty far behind. Let's Ignus, I guess. The most efficient play. Next turn we can play Steamkin and we can grow it into a 4/4, I guess. Not great, but it's also not the worst thing ever. So many birds. That's all 4 in the top 20 cards. It's a really bad draw, man. That's a really, really bad draw. That's a super bad draw. They get to connive 3 times and grow their dude. If I play something else, like, this card is such a beating. This card is such an insane beating for us. Yep, last card is Cruz. Of course it is. So we die to a shock here. If they play with Fireface, they just shred 3 times. That's lethal, I think. It's 4, 8, 10, plus 2, yeah. Shock, Steam Vents. Scary. Down to 2 we go. You have the shock. Pass the turn. I guess sometimes you're just not meant to get there, huh? Alright, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. Let's wrap this league up. Man, I was so excited after the first match. Like, everything just worked out super smoothly, and I was really feeling it. And then the wheels fell off hard after that. It's kind of brutal. So, number 1, we probably have maybe one too many, a little bit too many lands. So I could see going down to 25. Let's cut the Boseiju. Probably we can cut. Well, let's go with the Boseiju for now. So I really want to try. The Omnath felt like a little bit weird. Like, they make sense when everything's going right for us, but when it's not, then things become a little bit awkward. I kind of want at least more Escape to the Wilds style cards. I could see Collected Company finding its way in here, but if I want to play Collected Company, then I would cut the Omnaths altogether. So let's see how a Collected Company version of this deck would look like. So for example, something like this, and this would be 24 hits for Collected Company. So we want a couple of more hits. I don't know which ones those hits would be, but yeah, Whisper would probably sucks. I said I wanted some form of graveyard hate, so maybe Hearse is the way to go. Unlicensed Hearse. That card has been making waves, so that's a card we could be interested in. I also probably, if I'm doing Collected Company things, I want to cut down. Like, I have no single creature in my sideboard right here, so if I want to do Collected Company things, I wouldn't need to do that. Maybe Bring to Light is just better. I'm just entertaining the possibility. Then we could try different ideas on like different shells. We could also just do something like this, because like Escape to the Wilds looked pretty good. Escape to the Wilds actually felt pretty solid. This means we can maybe go up to 4 Cavaliers. I think I would rather have the Omnath as opposed to the 4th Cavalier. But I feel like we want something here. Like these 2 cards that I'm missing, they need to be bridge cards that get me towards my late. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they're supposed to be. But I certainly would want something that means that I don't get run over. Like, there's a bunch of aggro decks right now, Pioneer. I mean, to be fair, like, the metagame is all over the place right now because the banning has just happened and people are trying a bunch of things out. I was expecting to get paired against a lot more mono green, but we got paired against no mono green at all. We play against a bunch of blue-red decks, like red X decks. It's hard. Like, it's actually pretty hard to figure out what the last couple of slots should be. Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know where I want the deck to go. The disputes were pretty solid overall throughout the league. Disdainful Strokes maybe a little bit too much. The idea was to, you know, have out against like the mono green ramp deck, but I don't know how real the mono green ramp deck is. Whereas I think the Greasefang deck is pretty real. But yeah, so we make a couple of room for a couple of graveyard hate cards. Moon, Fry, Gust, these good sideboard cards. But yeah, I will need to think about this. Like, I don't think I can solve this right now. I think I need to think and try to figure out what I'm missing here. But I've not yet given up on this. You may expect like a video or 2 more with this shell. Particularly because when things work out, you don't even need your opponent to do nothing. Like, you just have so much card advantage. Like, when we played against the blue-red deck, like, we just had so much card advantage with like the other side of Birgi and like play multiple Cavaliers, Escape to the Wilds, like all of these cards. Even if your opponent's trying to play mono removal game against you, you can just pivot and be like, well, so here's a draw 5, you know? Here's a draw 5, deal with this now, you know? So we can try to go the combo route if we're trying to race, or we can simply draw 5 out of nowhere and go that other route instead. But yeah, I was playing 26 lands because it was kind of a leftover from playing the Omnath version, where I think that we needed a bunch of lands. But now, the 4-color Omnath, that is. But now that we are not playing the 4-color Omnath, maybe we don't need to be playing that many lands. We definitely want to be hitting our land drops, and I think that we probably need to. I need to continue working on the mana base, because this mana base felt a little bit too painful. So maybe I need to cut the harbors, and I need to pivot a little bit more into a pathway style mana base, or like more basics. I don't know, but definitely need to do something about the mana base, because it was kind of hard to not just take infinite damage on the way up the curve. It's hard though, right? Like, we're playing Recent Reefs and Leafkin Druids, but we're also playing Cavaliers that sometimes we just need to cast for value. So it's not an easy nut to crack. So that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, folks. If you did enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.